The Colts lost to the Lions today, but hey, at least we didn't get blown up by 30. What's up, Jacksonville?
Indiana, we some Indiana moves. We some Indiana, we some Indiana moves. I'm an Indiana move. We don't take 1, 2, 3. We make the f***ing rules now. No more talk. Just win. Let's go.
Touchdown! I-N-D-Y! Anthony Richardson.
All right, what's up, y'all? This is Marcus Sniffles, NFL expert, Colts fan. This is another Overreaction Monday after the Colts lose 24 to 6 to the Detroit Lions at home. Well, it said it was at home, but it sounded like it was in Detroit. I don't know what's going on up there, but yeah, this game it came down to some pretty simple mistakes, mishaps, and there's not a lot of like in depth that needs to go on for this game. Something that is, I don't know if this is considered like an analytic or super advanced stat, but a touchdown is worth 7 points, and a field goal is worth 3 points. 7 is larger than 3. I mean, that's pretty much what the game came down to. When the Colts got into scoring position, they kicked field goals. And when the Lions got into scoring position, they scored touchdowns. 7 greater than 3. I know it's super advanced. It might have went over some of y'all's heads, but, it is what it is. But on a serious note, it's one of those things where this game kind of shows you what great teams do compared to what, average teams do. Like the great teams capitalize off of other teams' mistakes and they make plays, whereas average teams like the Colts, average to below average or however you want to call it, they don't make those plays. They don't capitalize. When Sam Womack has an opportunity to make an interception, he drops the pass. When Latu forces a fumble, we don't recover it. What else was happening? Drop touchdowns, fumbling the ball, not executing flea flickers, dropping passes, the penalties. Like we're one of the fewest penalized teams in the NFL, and to come out today and have like 10 penalties for over 100 yards is kind of crazy. So it's little things like that. I mean they're not little things, but those are the main things. Not scoring touchdowns and penalties. I saw a stat about the penalties that were like what some of those penalties took away. Anthony Richardson had passes of 30, 21, 21, and 7 yards nullified by penalties. Like there's a certain like section of people that kind of look up the stats and try to draw a conclusion about who and what Anthony Richardson is and what this team is without actually watching the game. And there was a part in the broadcast where they were saying like, "Oh, Anthony Richardson hasn't completed. He hasn't made a completion in 7 straight passes, but the passes that were completed were taken back by penalties, or they were dropped, or they were caught out of bounds." And there's kind of like this narrative that Anthony is like this horribly inaccurate passer, which he has earned that with his play earlier this season, but he didn't earn it last week. And this week, his stats, let me pull up his stats just so I can have it right. I believe he only completed like 37% of his passes, but he was like 11 for 28, 172 yards. The most surprising thing to come out of this game was that he didn't get sacked because he was getting pressured all game long. But yeah, the stats say he was 11 to 28 for under 180 yards and 0 touchdowns. But you watch the game, you see that a touchdown pass was dropped, like a legit touchdown pass was dropped. You see a deep pass that goes to Ashton Doolin where he has no idea where the sideline is. A lot of the big plays that he made to Josh Downs and Pittman were nullified by penalties, and all that stuff goes away. That stuff doesn't show up on the stat sheet. So you can kind of see going through this week based on how people talk about Anthony Richardson going this week, if they actually watch the game or if they're just looking at the stats, because the stats will tell you one thing, but the actual film and the gameplay will tell you another thing. So I kind of have this thing where I've been saying this about Anthony Richardson, that I feel like he needs to play more in order to get better. And I'm kind of at a crossroads here with that stance because I don't think Dalton Tucker is ready to play. Like, he's an undrafted free agent, but he can't get better without playing. But his bad play is affecting the whole team. Like they can't. The running game is ineffective. It just doesn't work. Anthony Richardson was under pressure the entire game. Him not getting sacked is insane. It felt like he got sacked 3 times out there. But how else is Dalton going to get experience? And it's just kind of like, I'm kind of on a fence there because I was a big proponent of letting Anthony Richardson go out there and play, let Nick Cross go out there and play, let Jalen Jones go out there and play, and all of those guys have gotten better. I would like A.D. Mitchell to get more playing time so he can get better. But this Dalton Tucker thing, I don't know if that's going to work because I think it's different with the O-line because it's more so of a unit. And if there's one weak spot, everything tends to fall apart there. So I guess let me know in the comments. Do you think they should? I mean, they just signed Glowinski last week. I don't know if he's still good or not, but maybe they should toss him in there. This game really showed that, missing Bernhard Raimann and Ryan Kelly, starting Dalton Tucker, like that this O-line isn't ready with these guys in it. And Quentin Nelson isn't playing as well as he normally does. He had a lot of weird penalties also. I've said it like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Gus Bradley is coaching his ass off. Like, he's not playing. He's not calling a perfect game. He's not pitching shutouts or whatnot. But the defensive side of the ball has been doing their job. I mean, they held the Lions to just 24 points. No points in the first quarter. They only gave up 2 touchdowns in the second and third quarter, and then a field goal in the end. Like, that's an historic offense, and for this Colts defense to go out there and play as well as they did, impressive. Like, Latu made plays, Buck made plays, Jalen Jones made plays. I mean, didn't make enough plays to win, but I think that kind of falls back on the offense not doing their job and holding up their end of the bargain. And once again, Gus Bradley, I've been saying all year that they were going to fire him. I don't know how they can look those players in the face and justify firing him unless he gets a job somewhere else, or, he gets a head coaching position somewhere else, or he just resigns or whatnot. But he's been playing well enough to keep his job, and it would kind of look funny to fire him after the last, few weeks of the season. The penalties, not being able to make plays, not being able to score. This was just one of them games where you just want to just kind of forget about it and move on to next week. And this game kind of reminds me of the Falcons game from last year, where it was an NFC opponent, so it doesn't really affect us in the playoff standings too much, as opposed to the next game, which is an AFC game against the Patriots. So the playoffs essentially start next week. Like, if we lose to the Patriots, depending on what else happens, there's a good possibility that our playoff chances are over. But yeah, I would just be careful with who you talk to about football with when it comes to the Colts. I'd be more have a little bit more discernment about that, because there's a lot of people that just not watching the games and just want to spread narratives about Anthony Richardson. But yeah, this was a tough loss, man. I feel like if we played better and not make silly mistakes and have all the penalties and maybe have a healthy offensive line, maybe this game goes a little bit differently. Maybe it's a little bit more competitive, but it is what it is. Colts lose. On to the next one, to our hated rival Patriots. So hopefully we can get a win there. But appreciate you guys for liking the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the views and likes and comments and all that stuff. It's really helping me out, so I really appreciate it. So hopefully next week we'll be able to have a better reaction to a Colts football game, and we're going to have a more positive video. So, peace.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.